Hi, Michelle here. In today's video, we are going to discuss how every Hoya carries with it a little piece of its native home, whether it's a misty mountain, a tropical rainforest, or even a drier rainforest edge. And the more that we understand where our Hoyas come from, the better we can recreate those conditions indoors and help them thrive. So please join me today as we discuss the various Hoya habitats that our Hoyas come from and how these habitats distinguish the care requirements for each Hoya. If you like today's video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. That lets the word get out to the plant YouTube universe that my channel exists and that I'm out here releasing videos about Hoyas and their care every week. On Sunday, I know I've really switched around the release dates for the videos, but I am going to go back to Sunday. That seems to be the day that I can get the videos out with the schedule I have at home and the schedule that you guys watch the videos. So I deeply apologize for switching the videos around, but it is going to be a Sunday release date from now on. We're just going to stick with that. And I do apologize for the sound of my voice. I did develop pneumonia. I've been kind of sick. So I am on antibiotics. I am on breathing treatments. I'm feeling a lot better, but I still sound kind of horrible. So I apologize for the sound of my voice today. We're going to make it through this video. I am feeling a lot better today. But if you would like to help out my channel further, please consider subscribing to my channel. I have a goal to make it to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm almost to 600 subscribers right now, so that's really exciting. If you'd like to contribute to this video, please consider adding a comment to the comment section below. I do read and respond to all of the comments, so I will get back to you. It just may take me a day or two. Please be patient with me. I will get back to you. And now let's go ahead and talk about the video. Hoya grow across Southeast Asia, the Pacific, and Australia. Some climb trees as epiphytes, some climb across rocks as lithophytes, and every species has adapted to its environment in its own way. That's why Hoya obovata doesn't act the same way as Hoya bella, and why Hoya latifolia grows completely differently than Hoya cronianus and lacunosas. Today, let's go ahead and take a look at where these plants come from and how that directly shapes how we care for them in our homes. Let's go ahead and start in the lowland rainforests of the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Warm, humid environments with regular rainfall and filtered sunlight. This is the home for many of the Hoyas we grow, like Hoya pubicalis, Hoya obovata, Hoya latifolia. In these regions, the plants never deal with drought or strong direct sun. Instead, they live high in trees where their roots stay airy but never bone dry, and they get dappled light all day long. That's why indoors, these Hoyas reward us when we give them bright but indirect light, a chunky, fast-draining mix, and a little extra humidity. For example, Hoya pubicalis in its native Philippines grows rapidly and flowers often. In our homes, it will do the same if it feels steady moisture and light. Now, I will personally say Hoya pubicalis doesn't bloom in my care because probably I give it too low of humidity. That would be an opposite effect of what it grows in naturally. So that would explain to me why my pubicalis is not flowering and growing excessively well. I'm not giving it the conditions that it naturally grows in. It wants humidity. It wants filtered light. I'm giving it bright light, and I'm giving it dry conditions. So that would tell me that if I give it the conditions that it loves in nature, maybe it would reward me with more growth and more blooms. Now let's climb up into the highland, cooler, misty regions in northern Thailand, Vietnam, and Borneo. Here the air is still moist, but mornings can be foggy and nights are cooler than in the lowlands. Hoyas like Hoya ficii, Hoya calistophylla, Hoya thomsonii are shaped by this environment. They've developed thicker leaves and hold on to water and grow slower than lowland species. And I can definitely say, especially with thomsonii and things like that, that's definitely true. Indoors, this means that these plants won't tolerate the same constant moisture as Obovata or Pubicalix. They prefer to dry out a little more between waterings. They often do well with bright but gentler light, and they often benefit from cooler nighttime temperatures. Hoya thomsonii in particular will not bloom until you get lower light per day and and the temperature turns a lot cooler, like when it switches from summer to fall. I can only bloom my thomsonia once a year, and that's in the fall, stretching to winter. If your Hoya calistophylla isn't growing as fast as you want, it's not unhappy. It's just adapted to a slower growing pace. Maybe give it some cooler conditions and a little bit brighter light and see what happens to it. Now, the Philippines is home to incredible Hoya diversity, including Hoya nervosa, Hoya surigauensis, and hybrids like the Matilde. These plants are used to consistent warmth and humidity all year. They're not built to handle long dry periods, and they thrive when moisture is steady and the air doesn't dry out. I can definitely tell you with Hoya Matilde, for example, it's a hybrid with small soft leaves that can wilt too quickly if left too dry, and that's because of its parentage. You know, it is a cross of Hoya serpens and Hoya carnosa, I think. I'll put it down below if I'm wrong. That serpens is the cross that wants it to stay very humid, very damp, and it doesn't like to grow if it's in lower humidity conditions. In the home, these Hoyas appreciate being in more humid conditions, grown in a lighter part of your grow space, definitely a more humid part of your grow space if you have it. If you have a cabinet or if you have a grow tent, an acabar, anything like that, that would definitely appreciate something such as that. Then we have the smaller, more compact Hoyas like Cronianas, Bellas, Hanhei, Sunrise, Rebecca's. In the wild, these species are often epiphytes, clinging to the branches where water drains away quickly, but the humidity remains high. These Hoyas have thinner leaves that can't store as much water as the thicker leaf species. That's why in our homes, these Hoyas do best when they're watered more frequently than, say, a latifolia, and when they're grown in airy soil mixtures that doesn't stay soggy. Their natural growth style also explains why they're so beautiful in hanging baskets indoors. They're simply continuing to do what they do in the wild. I have some Croniana that are on trellises. I do have one Lacanosa though. I have a couple of Lacanosas that are hanging. I have a few. I have one right behind me that you can see right here. I have one in a window back here that unfortunately you can't see. Maybe I'll get a B-roll shot of it. But it's definitely hanging in the window, and I haven't had it that long. But it loves to grow long and just trail. As for thick leaf Hoyas and variegated forms, the Hoya latifolia variegata, the outer variegated, is a perfect example of how a plant's natural toughness shows up in our plant care routines. Latifolia comes from parts of Southeast Asia where it grows larger leaves to store water during slightly drier spells. That's why it doesn't mind drying out a bit more indoors and why it can handle slightly brighter light than compared to thinner leaf Hoyas. Variegated forms like your latifolia outer variegated and Wyetii variegated are still bound by the same rules as their wild ancestors because variegation reduces their chlorophyll. They'll always want more light than their green forms. Some of your Hoyas, like Hoya Mathilde, Hoya Sunrise, Hoya Rebecca, are hybrids. This means that they inherit traits from two different Hoyas. For instance, Sunrise is a cross between the Lacunosa and the Obscura. So it loves bright light that brings out its red sun-stressed leaves, but it also appreciates constant humidity. Hybrids also often combine the growth vigor of one parent with the delicate needs of another. So paying attention to their leaf texture and growth response is the best guide to their care. When we group our Hoyas by where they come from, the care starts to make a little bit more sense. Thin leaf specialties and Philippine endemics want steady moisture and more humidity. Highland Hoyas with thick leaves prefer to dry out more and grow slower in cooler conditions. Large leaf species store more water and can handle a little bit more light. And hybrids will often tell you what they need if you watch to see how their leaves react. Instead of treating Hoyas like a one-size-fits-all, we can look at their native homes as a guidebook. That's why Hoya Bella will never thrive if we treat it like a Hoya latifolia, and why Hoya pubicalyx flowers more easy than a Highland Hoya ficii. That's what they say anyway. I personally had Hoya ficii bloom a lot sooner than a pubicalyx. By connecting these Hoya's natural story to our indoor Hoya care, we get healthier plants and more blooms and more leaves. Every Hoya is an ambassador to its native home. The more you learn about where it comes from, the better you can give them what it needs indoors. That is the video for today. I'd love to hear what Hoya in your collection has surprised you the most with its care needs. Let me know in the comment section below. Let me also know what you thought of today's video. I am trying to see what you like more. Do you like these videos where I talk about topics more? Do you like to see videos where I work with Hoyas more? Do you like to see videos where I work with my own Hoyas more, just kind of do plant chores? Let me know what kinds of videos you find more interesting so I know what you like to watch. Thank you so much for staying and watching this video clear till the end. I greatly appreciate it. I know that there are a lot of things that you can do with your time today, and I really appreciate it that you spent your time with me all the way to the end of this video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until next time, I'll see you then. Thanks. Bye.